Hey everyone, it's Justine and welcome to my replay of my live video that I did the other night on Facebook for free virtual card classes with Laurel Beard. As promised, I know not everyone has Facebook, so we actually publish our edited videos here online of exactly the class that we did on Thursday night. So the class we did was live where you can ask questions and things like that. So if you have Facebook, I have a link in the video description below if you'd like to join us for next month's class. Laurel, I will also link to her video below because she features the 2 additional cards from the class. This month's theme was Distress Oxides, and we're looking forward to showing you a couple of techniques. So let's get started. I am starting off my background here by blending the entire background full of bundled sage. Now we decided on Distress Oxides because there are so many amazing techniques that you can do with them. Now, if you don't know about them, they are a blend of dye and pigment inks, which means that when I lay down color on my cardstock here, it's sinking into the cardstock like a dye ink would, but it's also sitting on top of the cardstock like a pigment ink would. So it's really easy to get a really nice, beautiful blend. You can push harder than you could on the original Distress Oxide inks. You have much more success in getting a smooth blend. Now I've done the entire panel of bundled sage now, and what I love about Distress inks is they don't just blend into each other, they also sit on top of each other. So I'm going to grab a stencil now. I'm grabbing this Marching Leaves stencil from Catherine Pooler Designs, and I am going ahead and adding some Evergreen Bough on the top. Now I'm not really sticking down my stencil very well. I'm just using my fingers to hold it in place. You're welcome to secure it, of course, with any sort of masking tape. And I'm just going in and adding my stencil. Now this is adding my second color of Distress Oxide ink onto my background, the first one being Bundled Sage, and you'll see how nicely the Evergreen Bough sits on top. Now each layer can sit upon the other one, which is a little different than the original Distress inks. So I'm going to go ahead now, I'm going to lift my stencil and I'm just going to move it in another direction. I'm going to move it diagonally, and I'm going to use a third color, which is Mowed Lawn. Now you can see that the background is just beautiful the way that it is, and you could of course leave it on there with just the 2 simple colors. But I wanted to create a little bit of a mixed media look, a little bit of a messier, grungier look, and I wanted to really get the use out of green because I never use these colors, so I thought it would be fun to use a color that I don't use very often. So I'm going in once again directly over top of the previous 2 layers that I've already done. And you'll see that I still get that leaf shape. You can still kind of tell what it is, but now I'm getting almost like this spotted pattern. It reminded me a little bit of a giraffe and how the spots are on that animal print. So now you can see it's getting a little bit more wild and a little bit more rustic. So I'm going now and I'm putting my stencil horizontally, and I'm going in with my last color of Lucky Clover. And this again is just going to do the same effect as the previous layers. Now, our free online card classes were inspired by the fact that we know what it's like to live in places where you don't have a local crafting store offering you classes, and how much we sit online and love to look at people that are attending workshops and classes, and we're always super jealous that people get to go meet each other and things like that. So we decided to do a free online card class that you can attend online in your pajamas, get to know some of the participants, ask live questions as you're going, and of course you can craft with us at the same time because we publish our supply list in advance. So next week, in the beginning of November, we will have our supply list ready for the November class. Our September class was alcohol inks, this month was Distress Oxide inks, and next month we will see. Put any suggestions below as to kind of classes you would like to see and learn more about, and we will see what we can do. So my second card was how to create a perfect blend using Distress Oxide inks. Now, as I mentioned before, I used to use the regular Distress inks all the time. Since then, I've boxed them all up. I don't really have much of a use for them anymore. I see now that they have all 60 colors released. The last 12 were just announced and went on sale. I'll link below in the video description for those in case you haven't picked them up yet. I find I don't use the Distress inks because you need a lot more patience and time to create with them. You were able to create perfect blends with them, don't get me wrong, but it required a light hand, it required even pressure, it required certain cardstocks, and I find the Distress inks to just be a super forgiving ink. I can push a little bit harder, I can buffer out lines, and of course there is a little bit of a learning curve with them, as all things are, but I find it's just a much more achievable look than the standard inks were before. So now you can see I put squeezed lemonade, carved pumpkin, picked raspberry, and lastly wilted violet's going to be my fourth color. Now what I like to do is I like to keep my inks open while I'm working, and I like to go back and forth between the colors to blend out any harsh lines that I keep getting. So when I was putting down the yellow, then I started putting down the orange. I went back in with the yellow, back in with the orange, just to really make sure that those colors blended together. And overall, you're not going to have much of an issue with these as long as your colors don't mix to make brown. Now, the nice thing about that is that you can use colors like that that don't normally mix together in Oxide inks, but that's a whole other technique and layering effect. A little bit different than the Distress Oxides. I have plenty of Distress Oxide ink videos here on my YouTube channel. I'll link to a few of them below, including my most popular video, which is the many ways to use the Distress Oxide inks. So now I'm just finishing up that perfect blend, and I personally love the fact that you can go in and stamp with these inks as well. So they're not just great technique ink like the original Distress Oxide or the Distress inks were, but they also stamp detailed patterns very well. Now I'm going in with this beautiful floral background. I believe it's called Bundle of Blossoms from My Favorite Things. If it's not, I'll correct it below in the video description. And I've inked that completely up with some Wilted Violet ink. And I'm just layering my cardstock directly on top and pushing it down with my fingers in order to get an even impression. I find this personally the easiest way to get a good impression on background stamps is instead of stamping the stamp directly on the paper, you put the paper down onto the stamp itself. You can see that I got that very detailed print without any issues whatsoever. So now that I got my entire surface cleaned up, I'm going to be using this Sentiment Duos stamp from Heffy Doodle. It's one of my favorite sentiment stamps because the sentiments are kind of funny, and I love the font on them and the fact that I can just simply stamp them and add them to a 4-inch wide base or card panel rather. So I'm going to be stamping a couple of different ones than I had used on my original card because I don't want to have 6 of the same cards because I have to create these cards in advance and then during the live and then again for the videos. And so I'm just going to be using a couple of different ones here, and both of them are birthdays because I need to stock up on birthday cards. I'm going to ink these up using some VersaFine black ink, which were some of my favorite black inks because they create a very detailed impression, and I love that the way that they look with very thin fonts like this one. So now that I've gone ahead and I have stamped these onto some plain white cardstock, I'm just going to trim them down so that I can fit them onto my card. So I'm going ahead and added my bases here. These are 110-pound Neenah Solar White cardstock, measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 when they are folded. So it's an 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 when you cut them down, and I scored them on the side so that they're side opening cards. I always used to make mine from the top folding cards, but I find when I've gone to people's houses after I've given them a card, they're often kind of spread out and they don't hold their form, so I am sticking to the side folding cards these days. And I just added those 2 sentiments on here. Happy birthday, eat an extra slice of cake. For me and oopsie daisy, it would appear that I totally forgot your birthday. So I hope you will go ahead to Facebook and like our Facebook page for the free online card classes, and that you will subscribe to our channel and check out Laurel's video in the description below. Don't forget hers for the other 2 cards that we made in class the other night. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow for another video. Bye now.